First time in a long time, but it seems like just yesterday when we were side by side. Beast mode, no one's blocking our way. These other guys tried it, but them man ain't got the skills of Braden and Davey, brazen and raging, bringing you the thrills and spills. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady DVP, the BDElite. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady DVP, the BDElite.
Hello, Braden Herrington here for Up Next. And well, this is a special, joyous occasion because yes, the pro wrestling boom is back, baby. And well, my normal co-host, my roommate, my life partner, if you will, Davey Portman, was so excited that he got on a plane and he went to Chicago. So he was there live. So he's too busy having some drinks and watching Daniel Bryan cut a promo in the ring right now. So I thought, well, I gotta bring someone on, someone qualified to talk about the boom of pro wrestling. And that someone is a Mr. Andrew Thompson.
I appreciate you having me on, good brother. I can't fulfill the shoes of my good man, Davey, but it's a pleasure to be here back on Up Next after I got cheated. You know, the last time I was on the channel, but you know, but we had to celebrate good vibes, man.
You're still sour grapes about like what was it, Up Next Mania, all the shows you've been on. Yeah. I'm happy we've settled our differences and we've made it through. We'll have to get you back on one of these shows in the near future. I don't know if you saw, but I lost the title. It's I got a rebuilding phase. I gotta do a whole thing. But you're here.
Look at that.
We're doing this via Zoom. We're doing it over Twitch. I did a watch along earlier tonight, twitch.tv/upnextpodcast. And shout out Dickie Bird because he's the man who has been doing all the stuff for our Up Next games and stuff. But he helped run the Twitch today and the watch along and this very feed right now. So he's just become like, I don't want to say he's become a good hand because he's way better than a Sean Spears in my book. But I love this man. So he's helping us out and running the stream. And you, Andrew, we don't usually get to do shows together. So that's kind of why I thought it would be a good idea to get you on. And why not for AEW's probably biggest show of the year? Definitely
a great pay-per-view to come in and fill in on, man. This was an exciting show from top to bottom. I'm sure we're going to get into it, but it would be remiss not to mention, man, the closing of that show. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the wrestling landscape is really changing, and I feel like tonight is definitely going to bring back this boom, and we'll definitely kind of get into it. I want to say, everyone, this is Up Next, but if you're listening to this, we do BDElite every Wednesday night, and we'll be doing a Twitch post show for that every Wednesday night as well. So follow along and listen to these shows because I thought we got to get into the show. It's such a long show, so I think we should get into it right now. Mr. Andrew Thompson, is there? I know you're the news guy. Is there any news right now that we need to talk about? Anything going on?
I think all the news is like the whole news cycle is just based around like what's been happening the past 2 hours. Like, I mean, if you want to bring up, Moxley and Suzuki's happening on Wednesday on Dynamite Live TV. So there you go. And then we're gonna have Ruby Soho's first Dynamite appearance. And like other than news, man, it's like AEW. They kind of got the news cycle on lock right now. Yeah, just for the night.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't this month already, it definitely is after tonight. Well, let's go to Chicago. Let's go to All Out here at the Now Center, Sears Center in Chicago, Illinois. AEW All Out from Sunday, September 5th, 2021. We start off with a TNT title match. We have the champion, the Redeemer, God's favorite champion, Miro, defending against Eddie Kingston with his brand new Redeem These Nuts t-shirt, which is great. They move quick over there at PWT. Like, he does something in a promo, he can have it on a shirt real quick. This is essentially what we call big lads wrestling, because these are some big guys and they're known for throwing down. And they do just that. There's almost machine gun chops at one point. Eddie hits an exploder. There's a power slam on the outside from Miro, a slap fight. Miro does like a single leg drop kick kind of leg lariat thing, which looked crazy. There was a huge Saito suplex, chops to the neck from Eddie Kingston. Protect your neck, Eddie Kingston. There's a tope from Eddie, which is nuts considering he's like a bigger dude. There's then German suplexes and then the back fist and the DDT, which he says is Miro's kryptonite. But at a 2.9, Miro kicks out. I blame Bryce Remsburg, I think, for that because he was pretty slow. When the ref is kind of pulled in here, Miro redeems these nuts by low blowing Eddie Kingston, roundhouse kick, and then the game over. And well, it's just that for Eddie Kingston as Miro retains. But I smell rematch in Queens. What did you think, Andrew?
Oh yeah, 100%. I definitely think this is going to happen in a rematch. See, initially, like, well, I'm gonna get into the match first, but I had like this whole scenario working into my head. But I think the match was really solid. This was a great open. I think people are very, very, very fond of Eddie Kingston. I think we're all like very, very, very fond of Eddie Kingston, man. It was good to see him in this sort of this marquee spot right here on this pay-per-view. We got to give props to Miro though, man. Like to see him completely just transform what he was in WWE towards sort of the later stage when he wasn't really spotlighted, and then to see him where he is now. This kind of seems like what everybody has wanted him to be for quite some time, and now he's finally this. So it's really good to see him sort of dominating. I had initially thought I had like worked this idea in my head that this was going to be the headliner at the Arthur Ashe show, and that's where we were going to get Danielson's debut, because I was under the assumption that everybody thinks Eddie Kingston's going to get the big W in his hometown. People are going to be quote unquote disappointed in the storyline sense that he didn't get the win, and then to come save the day would be Danielson, and that would be Miro's first big, probably his first big loss in AEW was the Danielson. But I did think this was a good match. Miro showed out, Eddie Kingston showed out, and it was a solid open to start the show.
Yeah, it felt like they were going for that 90s All Japan with the chops and to the neck and the power slams and back Saito suplexes and stuff. I definitely want to see the rematch. I think there's so much room for that, especially at the Queens show. I definitely feel like that could be the main event of that show if you wanted to go that route. Definitely want to see more from these two.
I was about to say, and he wins this time, maybe.
Yeah, you think Eddie could redeem himself? I don't know. Miro's on this hot run, though. Yeah. They've made this title not feel like a secondary title. It feels like a world title that Tony Khan's trying to make it like seem like super important. And Miro with this run could. I don't know who the guy to be to take it, but I like this match. It was a great way to start the show. Very explosive and exactly kind of what we need. But Miro cheats to win, so it does scream rematch, and I'm definitely for it. We go to our next match, which is definitely bringing over the Japanese flair, because Jon Moxley's opening the forbidden door yet again to face Kojima, leader of the Bread Club. He didn't bring any bread out this time, but he's bringing the bread home with that all-out payday here tonight against Jon Moxley. Am I correct? The new GCW champ?
Yes, the new defeated Matt Cardona last night.
Wow. So he has a GCW. Yeah, he's got the hoodie on with the GCW logo, but he doesn't have the title. He didn't bring the title out here. He doesn't have the spinner one either, does he? That one.
He's going to be facing Nick Gage on October 9th. So, yeah, I think a lot of people will be looking forward to that.
Yeah, that should be insane. Nick Gage versus Moxley. Yeah, definitely sign me up. I can't even imagine the violence and blood and stuff that those two would want to. More than any of the other people. Like, they definitely would want to show up there. Yeah. Well, he's rocking the GCW on the hoodie, but he's going up against Kojima. There's a middle finger from Moxley, who just does not want to show respect here. Moxley sends him to the outside and hits a tope and then a side Russian leg sweep into the guardrail. I know Davey was excited to see that. There's chops from Kojima in the ring, and then there's an elbow drop off the top for a near fall. There's a Saito suplex from Moxley, just like Kingston was doing, his buddy in his earlier match. Kojima and Mox are up top. There's a superplex. There's a DDT on the apron from Moxley, which just takes out Kojima, but he breaks the count. There's then a brain buster, but Moxley kicks out. There's then the elbow pad, which is coming off, which means it's time for the coziest lariat, the cozy lariat. And he's going for it. He hits it, but there's also a cutter, I guess a cozy cutter, if you will. But Moxley kicks out. there's the paradigm shift. And if that's not enough, it's the Death Rider, the one where he really just lifts him up in the air and drills him, and Moxley pins Kojima. What'd you think?
Yeah, man, like I actually tweeted this out. Like, for Kojima to have been putting his body through what he has over the past 30 years and to be moving as like gracefully as he does around the ring, that is like very impressive for some, like, because you see like a lot of people when they start turning 50, they start to, wind down a little bit. Not necessarily they move slow or like they're not as sharp, but you can just visibly tell that, they're starting to head towards those later years. And I feel like him, and maybe you could throw Nagata in there, like, dude, they still can be able to like move around sort of gracefully around the ring, more so Kojima than anything. But I think this was a nice match. It wasn't, I want to say it was anything like over the top crazy, but it was just a good solid match. And I think it just, of course, what we saw after the match was to build to that. And what we're going to see, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to see Moxley versus Minoru Suzuki on live television, which Braden, I'm pretty sure you're going to break that down as far as what happened next.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you said it right. This wasn't anything like, match of the night or kind of match of the year, but it reminded me of the match Blue Justice from Dynamite. Like, it was kind of similar. Was it Nagata? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was similar. I feel like if this were on Dynamite, I probably would have felt like it was more fun and more important and maybe better. I didn't say I hated it. I think I was still a little like, oh, it's Kojima versus Moxley, where maybe a month ago people were thinking, hey, are we getting like Moxley Tana at All Out?
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't happen. Are we getting Moxley Ishii? Okay, well, that didn't happen. Are we getting Moxley Suzuki? No. So it's like, why didn't they just get Suzuki to fight him on the pay-per-view instead of this week? It's weird.
I think it's more so of a thing. I think they're like trying to like gradually build to some of like Japan's top stars for Moxley. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, Moxley just like, it seems like he's about to go on this like tear of just like going through everybody in New Japan, and it's probably going to ultimately lead up to a U.S. title match between him and Tanahashi. And I can't really tell if that's going to end up being on New Japan's home base or that's going to be on AEW's home base. Like, I'm pretty sure that's something they're going to have to work out eventually. But like, either way, I'm going to have to see it. Like, when I saw Suzuki come out like that Kaze Ninare, when I hear people like
singing
say that thing always gets me amped up. Always, it never fails. And I'm pretty sure Moxley and Suzuki, I think the last time they fought was with A New Beginning in 2020, like right before the pandemic started. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do now. And speaking about that, Braden, I'm pretty sure you probably seen him on Twitter. Suzuki is going on a hell of a tour in the US, man. He got Gresham coming up.
What's like everything. Yeah, I'm upset that we're not going to the Suzuki Orange Cassidy match, which I think has to happen down the line, that we were robbed of last 2 years ago now, I guess. Yeah, but I so I mean, you said it. Yeah.
No, I was just going to ask you, do you think this is going to be like, not a retirement tour for Suzuki, but I was going to ask you, do you think this is like more so of a toning it down type thing, or do you just think he's just going on a tour?
I think he's just going on a tour. He's still going and kind of going at the pace. He, like you mentioned, these older guys that still have this like energy and flow, and Minoru is still someone up there for me, and he's definitely one of the more interesting ones. He's one of the heavier hitters. He's above a Kojima for me. Minoru Suzuki comes out, his music hits, people go nuts. I'm definitely going to be listening to it again later, and it's a standoff with Minoru and Moxley, and they start to exchange some strikes back and forth, but it ends with the Gotch pile driver on Moxley. And yes, they've announced thus far since Moxley versus Minoru this Wednesday in Cincinnati. So yeah, I'm super excited for that. I went to a Ring of Honor New Japan show like a few years ago, and I was with Fight Network. So I went to interview the Bullet Club. So they let me in with Media Pass. And as I was waiting for them, I was like in this media thing that overlooked the ring, and Minoru Suzuki came out. It was like no one was there, and he was just there, and he was like sparring by himself and with like these like young boys, and I was like genuinely terrified. I was like, oh shit, this guy's no joke. And this was like a few years ago, but I was like, he was killing these turnbuckle pads, killing these young lions. This wasn't taped or anything. It was just, I just watched this. I was like, oh shit, like he's very scary. I'm more so excited for Moxley Suzuki than I am for this Moxley Kojima. It was a fun match, but the money is definitely there. If Minoru Suzuki's in GCW, Moxley's in GCW, Moxley ties it up with Tanahashi could potentially be the GCW world champion.
look at you, man. Long-term booking. You already thinking ahead for Brett Lauderdale. There we go. But no, I was going to ask you, if you had to rate real quick, what you could predict Moxley's his pop is going to be in his hometown of Cincinnati. If you had to give it a scale of 1 to 10, what you think it's going to be?
Yeah, 10 for sure. 100%. Yeah, I'm someone who did not like Dean Ambrose. He was not someone on my radar, was not a fan, didn't understand him. And then this guy who showed up in AEW was just someone completely different with the promo style, the wrestling, just everything. He's a complete package of what I like in pro wrestling. So this guy's I'm almost like a new fan, even though I've been watching him for years. But I'm super excited for the Suzuki match. I actually thought their last New Japan match, they didn't kill each other enough. So I hope they kind of bring it this Wednesday on Dynamite.
You want to know what's crazy? Like, I feel like I really like this route that they're going with Moxley, because I feel like they could have easily just gone the route. And I don't think anybody would complain about it if he would have just went the route of, like, I've been carrying this company as a world champion for the past year, and now all these other people coming in and I'm getting overlooked. And I feel like, they're bypassing me. And that could have been an easy route to turn Mox heel. But instead, they're doing something different, and they're just lining up the New Japan guys. And like, I think that's more creative than turning them heel, even though I feel like that the heel storyline would be a good one, because it does make sense.
Yeah, I mean, like the promos he's been saying, he was the flag bearer in these empty fucking arenas. So Moxley Punk is a big match. I think we'll eventually get to down the line. Like, that just makes complete sense to go to these two tough, gritty kind of style dudes. So I'm looking forward to that. Should we go to our next match, which I also think Moxley versus Ishii needs to happen in AEW down the line. We go to our AEW Women's Championship match. The champion, Britt Baker, defending against Kris Statlander. Britt Baker coming out with Reba and Jamie Hayter in the new Britt Baker Michael Jordan shirt, which I knew Dickie throughout our whole watch along tonight kept trying to order for Mrs. Dickie. He says Britt Baker is the forbidden door to bring his missus into watching wrestling. So I know she was like, yeah, he wants to hook her up with that Britt Baker DMD t-shirt. PWTs, they're on fire lately. They're too busy to print Britt Baker shirts today, to be honest, or this week or this month, to be honest. Britt Baker versus Kris Statlander. Britt goes to do the DMD pose in front of Statlander's face, but she grabs her arm and does the finger bop. Britt hits the sweet neck breaker early on, and then a sling blade for a near fall. Statlander comes back with the fisherman falcon arrow buster for a 2 count. There's then a huge DDT and super kick. Britt comes back with a superplex. There's a 450 from Statlander, but no water in the spaceship. I'm trying to think of something funny. That sucked. There's a scissor kick from Statlander.
That was bad. That was bad.
I'm trying to think of what Beth Phoenix said this week, which I still think she's meant to say. Like, I hope she said it intentionally when she said there was nobody in the pool or something like that. And I was like, yeah, you meant two different things, but yeah. Statlander goes for a moonsault thing on the outside, which actually I think they call the spaceship something ridiculous, but she misses it and eats shit. There's the spaceship eats shit. There's then Orange Cassidy for the first time ever gets hyped here as he gets in Statlander's face and just starts yelling at her like, get up, come on, which is definitely not Orange Cassidy's MO. Statlander goes in the ring, but she's hit with the Panama Sunrise from Britt Baker. A little wink of what might come later tonight. She then hits the stomp, but Statlander kicks out, locks in the lock jaw with the drip glove, and Statlander taps out, and Britt Baker retains the women's title.
Yeah, man. Like, of course, like you mentioned, the crowd they went absolutely insane when they saw her do the Panama Sunrise or the Pittsburgh Sunrise,
Pittsburgh.
as the Pittsburgh Sunrise as Excalibur deemed it. But yeah, man, I think this was it was a solid match. I don't think, like, again, like the Moxley Kojima match, I wouldn't say it was anything like, like, oh my goodness, but it was a good match for what it was. I think both Britt Baker and Kris Statlander went out there and did what needed to be done. But I think the long game is what AEW was looking at. And Braden, I don't know if you kind of feel the same, but I feel like the long game, what they're looking at is Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like
the Hangman Kenny.
Yeah. Look at you with the with the Lakers, man. But yeah, I think that's the long game for AEW, and I think they're gonna line up the challenges for Britt along the way, and they'll have those moments where it might seem like she might lose the title, but I just feel like Britt is just too over right now to sort of take away that momentum from her. I feel like you just got to keep lining people up. And next, we know who her next challenger is. I'm gonna say that for that conversation when we get to it. But yeah, I think Kris Statlander was a good opponent for Britt. Like, they built Kris Statlander real well. She hasn't lost a singles match since February 2020, bro.
Damn.
Like, she's been undefeated in singles matches ever since. So
yeah,
it was a good first challenge for not first challenge, but a good challenger for Britt to get on to the next one.
I think Statlander will be women's champ one day here in AEW.
Oh yeah.
Like the alien thing is not too over the top. Like, it works enough. Like, she's kind of toned it down. I think, I'm not sure, but the wrestling is there. I think down the line she'll just continue to evolve and get better. But yeah, so far it didn't hit too hard for me. But I still was getting into the near fall, and the Panama Pittsburgh Sunrise definitely woke me up.
That woke me up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know if you've heard me going on my rants, Andrew, but I say that my dream scenario would be Charlotte pulling a Alundra Blaze, taking the women's title from WWE and throwing it in the trash here on AEW TV to challenge Britt Baker. But that's just me in a different multiverse thinking out loud there. But Britt Baker retains, and yeah, I think the end game for her is Thunder Rosa, and there's definitely some contenders that she can run through before that. But we go to Andrade, who's with his guy Chavo and his lawyer guy with Alex Marvez. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seems as if they're saying Chavo Guerrero's the reason Pac didn't show up.
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
Like they were insinuating that he's the reason why Pac had travel delays.
Yeah. So very weird. Andrade says he's here to fight, which is weird because he's not here to fight. Actually, he's not. This match was pulled off the card. They've said it's happening this Friday on Rampage. So that's cool. But it was definitely one of the main matches I wanted to see. I saw Sammy Guevara tweeting Andrade yesterday, thinking that we would maybe get that in its replacement. But regardless, they just say that this is happening Friday. And yeah, Chavo canceling flights and stuff. Andrade's only had one match, but he's had 2 managers, and I think he needs to have a new manager and get rid of Chavo and this lawyer guy and just come out with just get Rick. Let's just go. Just get Rick at this point. Like, dude, you can't. I don't know what's going on. Just get Ric Flair with Andrade, and that's it.
You take the words right out of my mouth. Like, now for real, Braden, I don't know what it is. Like, it's it's like from the moment Andrade got in AEW, like it's just like things haven't really clicked all the way. If that, like, I don't know if that's just me, but it just seems like it feels he feels like a star. But I'm talking about, like, as far as like maybe just the different parents. Like, I always thought, like, as soon as they started doing the thing with the Lucha Brothers and Pac, I immediately thought like a good manager for Andrade would probably be Selena De La Renta. Like, considering like her history with the Lucha Brothers and MLW, she used to manage them. Like, that could be a way to sort of reel them in a little bit. And I just think they would play real well off each other. Like, I initially thought the Chavo thing was going to work. I mean, maybe it's working for some people, but like, it's just like now. And I don't really know how I really feel about it. But I mean, I guess I could just wait a little bit to see where it goes. But of course, like you said, I was anticipating to see the Pac Andrade match, but I think they'll get a decent amount of time on Rampage.
I think they'll get probably 20, 30 minutes. So hopefully give them half the show, the main event, and they'll definitely kill it. I was thinking that Andrade would beat Pac and then get the Lucha Bros or something, like acquire them or work with them. But I don't think that's kind of the route that. But the story is still, look, Pac wasn't even there, and you win without him. So there is some things that you can go, but maybe we get Zelina, who can come back and manage Andrade and Malachi Black in some sort of unit. I don't know, but
Zelina is too busy taking them L's on Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah. Yikes. Yeah. Well, we go to our next match, which is the AEW Tag Team Title match. It's the Young Bucks, the champions, defending against the Lucha Bros. Matt and Nick Jackson versus Penta and Rey Fenix. We get this epic entrance for the Lucha Bros here. I think this is Ruckus, the AEW like song guy. It looks like he's like rapping and all over these beats. And then this other rapper, which I didn't quite get the name, and he came out and was spitting while there was like these dudes in costumes. And then the Lucha Bros come out with these like crazy like Mexican headdress, kind of like vibrant feathers and all these things, super colorful. And I know we thought we would get Penta dressed as the Joker, but it's, second best. We can't all get what we want all the time, because we just have to see him dress up in that Joker outfit every week. But all jokes aside, it was nice to see him in some different gear. This was a cool entrance. I actually liked the rapping and the stuff. And what's Alex Abrahantes?
Yeah.
Dude was wilding out. What was he? He looked like he was in a red blazer, like dancing like Jack Skellington or something. I don't know.
He was turned up, man. He was feeling it. He was feeling it.
Yeah,
I wasn't even mad at him, bro. I seen him turned up over there. I was like, do you, bro? Do you?
Yeah, I was about it. And I don't want to make fun of the red blazer, because there were some different choices made here tonight, because out come the champions, the Young Bucks, with their usual, crazy wild gear, and I'm sure very expensive shoes. Not their Dior's though. But Nick Jackson has taken the heel territory, the heel level, the heel heat to the next level with this facial hair choice, which I can only describe as almost Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan, superstar Billy Graham, meaning, he's got like bleached, like the handlebar within the beard. Jeez,
it's a brown patch. Wow.
Big pop. I went, wow, you are such a, you look like scumbags. And I so buy it. Because if it's not even just that facial hair, it's like the danglies that definitely do it for, like, everything they're doing is definitely working. Like, they all know that everyone loves them. They're the Young Bucks. So how do we get people to hate us? Well, look like this is how you get me to give you that Scrappy Doo heat here, that X-Pac heat, where I'm like, geez, you look like trash, and I love it. Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros inside a cage. This cage is a little different, though. It's like there's just enough room for them to like go in between the ring and the cage, I would say. Like, it's not quite your WWE one. So yeah, the Bucks and the Lucha Bros are obviously going to do a lot of flippy springboard stuff still, which they do. There's crazy Hurricane Ranas. Now I'm going to try to explain some of the moves, but trying to explain and writing down all the stuff that happened in this one will take a while. But there's the was up drop kick to the butt, which I could call, I think someone in the chat called it the Butthole Surfer, which is a great band, but nice. There's like sling blades. There's wall running Rey Fenix, who hits a cutter. Wall running mean he runs up the cage to do like a move, which was like, what's like some Matrix shit here.
Bro, I don't know how he pulled that off, like, without losing his balance. Like, and y'all listening to Braden right now, that is exactly what happened. Like, if you didn't get a chance to see the show,
he run up the cage Spider-Man wall. Yeah, like what the
like,
just insanity. There's a stunner, double stunners, RKOs, cutters. There's a German on the apron. There's the Indie Taker, and then in stereo nut shots by the Young Bucks to get that heel heat. They hit more bang for your buck for a near fall. Nick and Matt start ripping the masks of the Lucha Bros, and Penta's mask gets full on like ripped off his face. It's just barely on, and he is just bleeding here. And if he wasn't bleeding already, Brandon Cutler gives them a bag and they open it. He whipped good on Brandon Cutler. That was an awesome throw. Great first pitch, Brandon Cutler, who throws this bag into the ring over the cage. And it reveals this shoe. I'm told it's a Travis Scott 1. The Twitch chat was telling me earlier. Shout out B Detroit. And it's got thumbtacks all in it. It's got thumbtacks all on the sole of the shoe. And Matt Jackson puts it on and goes to super kick Rey Fenix. But Penta, the older brother, stops him and goes, no, hit me. He takes the bullet for his own brother. And he does just that. He gets super kicked multiple times with this thumbtack shoe. And then there's even this double team where Nick like drop kicks him face first into the shoe. Just nasty. There is blood everywhere. But Rey Fenix comes back from the dead and attacks the Bucks, grabs the shoe, beats them up with it, give them a little taste of their own medicine with that Travis Scott sicko mode. He hits this muscle buster driver, which I guess that's the best way to describe it. He goes for the muscle buster, but spins around and hits this package.
Spin them around, yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Crazy. That wasn't it either. There's then a double Penta package pile driver, but then that's broken up. And then Penta and Matt Jackson are on the top turnbuckle, and Penta hits him with a super avalanche destroyer off the top. All four guys are down. They eventually get up, cue the good, the bad, and the ugly soundtrack, because it's like a standoff here in the Old West as all four guys are now super kicking each other, but then they're super kicking one another like in unison, back and forth.
Yeah, no.
It's a shootout. It's a Western shootout here as they're all coming. And then the Bucks knock down Penta. They knock down Phoenix. And as they can take a breather, Rey Fenix kips up, again comes back from the dead, levels them with super kicks, Penta driver. Rey Fenix climbs the fucking cage. So Nick goes after him. He gets sent off. Rey does a crazy dive off the top onto everyone. There's the running PK kick off the cage. And there's then the Penta driver, what is their double team move? The Lucha Bros, the assisted, like,
you talk about when he does a stomp onto him.
It's like a butterfly J driller, but the other guy like has the other guy's legs in the air, like something like in the fire or Fear Factor, maybe.
The Fear Factor is when he does, like, he picks him up for the package power drive, and then Phoenix comes and does it. Yes, I think that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Fear Factor. And Penta shoves over, I think it's Matt, and gets the pin. And the Lucha Bros are the new AEW Tag Team Champions in what I can only say was a beautiful, beautiful war of a match. Damn.
That was definitely one of my favorite tag team matches of the year, without question. One of my favorites. Like, I made sure to jot that one down. I keep, like, whenever I see like a match that I really like, I make sure to like make it a note, like just to be like, oh yeah, remember that one. That was definitely one of those. Like, did you hear that reaction that they got when they got the W?
Yeah,
that crowd went insane for them. Like, it was just one of those type of moments, like, where you was just like, they had to win the titles. Like, they just had to. Especially considering like what we saw at the end of the show, like the Elite, they kind of got their momentum back in a big way. But I mean, still at the same time, man, like, that was a really great match. I feel like Penta and Phoenix have been sort of what's the word? I don't want to say underappreciated, but more
underused.
Underused. Yeah, they've been very underused in AEW for a while. Like, a lot of people, I'm not the only person that said that. A lot of people have said that, like, as they've been wanting to see them do more outside of the AEW dark and out of the usual stuff that they see from them. And this was just, I feel like this is the shot in the arm that they needed. And maybe they got a plethora of challenges lined up. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably want to see them versus FTR. That's one I want to see for sure. You can always go to babyface versus babyface team with them versus Jurassic Express. It's a couple of different teams out there lined up for him, man. And of course, that special moment that I think Penta had when he hugged his daughter, I believe they said he was on the outside. That was another special moment. I saw a couple people saying they may or may not have shed tears when that happened. So that was a cool Cool thing, man. And I'm excited for the Lucha Brothers to see how AEW sort of books them going forward. And that was a great moment. And hearing that reaction, man, that just basically solidified what people already knew is that Penta and Phoenix are stars.
Yeah, honestly, when I went to All In a few years ago, the match was Penta versus Kenny. And obviously Kenny was like the IWGP champ at the time. He was the talk of the town of wrestling. But for me, coming out of that show, I was like, yo, this Penta guy is just insane, and I gotta like watch more of him. And then ever since AEW coming, I've watched some of his stuff on the indies and down in Mexico, but ever since watching Dynamite, my favorite characters have been Rey Fenix and Penta, and I'm so happy that they're getting their flowers essentially with winning the tag titles, but like just putting on this crazy match. I feel I don't want to be cliche, but these four guys are just destined to do this forever. These four guys just put on magic all the time. This was my favorite matchup between the four, way better than even their ladder match or any of their just normal tag team wrestling matches. I absolutely love this match. This was my match of the night, and if I would give star ratings for matches, I would give this a 5-star rating. No questions asked. I am a big fan of the Bucks. I love when they kill the Biz. And well, the Lucha Bros here are just going to take these titles and do great things. You mentioned all these different tag team matches we can have now with things, and the Bucks can win the titles back from them down the line. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, this was very special. And what even was more hardcore, because Penta's one sick son of a gun. He was hugging his daughter while he's just bleeding all over her. He didn't give a fuck. He was just bleeding. His face was dog food. I don't know what the Bucks. Oh yeah, they used a thumbtack shoe. That definitely would mess up a guy's face. But damn, what a match! Honestly, probably going to be talked about a lot this year, being people's match of the year, because it was stellar. Definitely, hats off to all four guys here. But Penta and Rey Fenix, the new champs, going forward.
It's definitely really cool. Like, again, to see them, just to reiterate it was really cool to see them get that big moment and that big reaction, man. Like, that reaction was crowd. I'll probably go back and listen to that, like that reaction that they got when they won the title, because that was like one of those things where you for just a split second you really couldn't hear the music in the background just for a quick second, and I think that was just a cool moment, man. Like, that was probably, of all the Phoenix and Pentagon matches that they either had together or singles, that might have been my favorite one for Penta, behind that match he had with Sami Callihan at the Impact Slammiversary show in 2018. And I definitely agree with you. What you said, that's probably the best match between them and the Bucks, because I really wasn't a fan of the one that they had in AAA, and then the one that they had at All Out in 2019. That was good, but I feel like this one just this one smoked those other two.
Yeah, this was chef's kiss. Honestly, I thought this was what I like in my pro wrestling. I think it was Excalibur on commentary. He was like, hey, or Tony probably. He was like, hey, welcome to AEW. If this is your first pay-per-view you're buying, like, hey, this is what we do. And definitely the Bucks showing us again, they're the best tag team. Honestly, like, no one can touch them when it comes to tag teams. But the Lucha Bros definitely can, because they beat them. But I would watch these guys wrestle all the time. Fight forever, definitely. The crowd was loud when they won. But it was this Mexican standoff when they were all killing each other with the super kicks, and then Rey Fenix like comes back from the dead like for the second time. That's when the crowd just like, this whole arena, like everyone was standing up and just going nuts. This is what I like from my pro wrestling, and I was smitten. I would go out with. I was done. I was like, all right, cool. What even else is on this card that's important? Oh yeah, there's a few other things, definitely, but loved it. From the high spots to the destroyers to the bleeding on children. Absolutely loved it. We go to our next match. Hopefully no kids get covered in blood during this. But Abaddon's in it, so be careful. The women's battle royal. It's the 21. What's the name? The Blackjack?
Casino Battle Royal.
Casino. Yeah, that's what it is. So this is a battle royal. Each card is drawn, and then a bunch of people enter the ring, if you will, kind of like a Royal Rumble, but a little weird. I kind of just prefer the one at a time thing. It's less confusing. We get some people in this match. Sky Blue, who I'm not familiar with. What's the deal with Sky Blue, Andrew?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw. Did you get a chance to see the AEW Dark show recently that they did. So she had a match against Red Velvet, and she's like a regular in the Chicago like independent scene. Like she works a lot with AEW and stuff like that. And everybody know that's the Illinois based independent promotion. They do sometimes they do shows in Wisconsin, but it's primarily Illinois. And she had a really good reaction, man. And she had a solid match with Red Velvet. Right after the match, Tony Khan did this usual thing when he came out, and it was like, do you want to be in the Women's Casino Battle Royal? She did not know legitimately that he was going to do that, and he offered her the spot. And they caught a nice moment on Dark, because she seriously, she really didn't know that was going to happen. So yeah, that's how she got the spot in the Battle Royal. But she's really becoming more well known in that sort of Chicago / Illinois, with the Chicago Illinois area. I think she started making a name for herself in that scene. And she did some stuff with the NWA as well. She was on some of their tapings not too long ago.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I saw Twitter was jumping about it, but I wasn't quite sure. So they made a little bit of a big deal about it here. Emi Sakura is also in this match, who is not doing her classic Freddie Mercury stuff, sadly. We got Abaddon, like I mentioned. We got a bunny in this match. There's Hikaru Shida. We got everyone in this match. There's Anna Jay.
Hey, Braden.
Yeah.
Braden, I was going to ask you, what do you think how they following up on Shida, like a post title? Do you think it's a good idea, to sort of cool the champion, cool somebody down after a big title loss like that, or would you have preferred to see them sort of follow up more with more appearances on Dynamite?
Yeah, the women's division is definitely all over the place. They don't treat it very well. At least it doesn't feel like it's very important. So definitely Shida's become this afterthought, which is unfortunate because she's awesome. So yeah, I see what you mean. There's a lot going on here. There's Anna Jay, there's Diamante, Kylan King, Kira Hogan, try to keep up, Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, Penelope Ford, Riho, Jamie Hayter, Ty Conti, who there's legit Layla Hirsch, Red Velvet. There's Jade, Reba, and the Joker, the wild card, the big reveal, which we all kind of thought would happen. Ruby Riot, if you listen to JR, which I think he called her that right away. Ruby Soho shows up, and yes, she's got Rancid as her theme song. She comes down looking killer. She's beating people up. There was a lot of eliminations throughout this match, but it's essentially a Royal Rumble where they're throwing them out. Jade starts fucking up Ruby Soho here, and she eliminates a lot of people. Jade eliminates Hayter, I think Ford, Red Velvet, and then Nyla eliminates Jade, which I think is going to set up some sort of feud between them. Tay is in there. She's beating people up. There's a choke bomb. There's then... did I mention Thunder Rosa, which it leads down to the final two, which is Ruby Soho and Thunder Rosa. And they were killing it, going back and forth here. But they're on the apron, and it's eventually this crazy, almost eat defeat kind of Enziguri style kick from Soho, which sends Rosa to the outside, and Ruby wins the match, which I believe Ruby Soho now gets a title shot. Is that how this works?
Yeah.
So she's going to get to face Britt.
She's next in line, man. Honestly, Brad, when I saw that it was her and Thunder Rosa, the last two, I was like, ugh, I don't know about that one, man. Just because I was like, maybe it's too early, man, to be having them two as the final two and making people have to choose between Ruby and Thunder Rosa. You got the fan favorite versus the fan favorite. But now that I think about it, I think it kind of worked out in the end, because I think it's gonna make people sort of crave to see Thunder Rosa finally get her shot and stuff like that. Me and you briefly talked about earlier. We think the long game is going to be Ruby versus, Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker for the title, and probably Thunder Rosa is going to take the title off and be the one to actually do that. And then, but Ruby, man, it was so cool to see her sort of get that big reaction, man. Because I feel like a lot of people, even when she was in WWE, a lot of people felt that they could have done more with her. You could say that with a lot of people, honestly. But I felt like she was one of those people in the women's division, where they never really sort of tried to see how far they could push her. I think the last time she had a significant women's title match was what was that, Fastlane, 2018. like when she faced Charlotte Flair at that show. Like I think that was so. Yeah, it was cool to see her in the spotlight, man, and be able to get that big reaction. People reacted very well to the win. So I'm glad that because I was sort of like how they gonna react to her sort of like getting the win over Thunder Rosa or getting over on Thunder Rosa, but they reacted very well to it. So yeah, she's next in line for Britt, man, and I'm pretty sure that you think they're gonna set that up probably for a special additional Dynamite, or you think they probably gonna hold off until
you could do that at Queens.
I mean, yeah,
Arthur Ashe.
There you go.
Yeah, I would do that there. I liked Ruby Riott. I definitely thought that she had like this buzz on the indies because everyone was like, oh, this girl's like very talented and awesome. And then WWE, she came and they WWE fight her. They kept her down. They held her down, man. So like she needed to riot. She needed to kind of break out of that. So I'm actually genuinely interested to see what she can do. Cause just from a little bit here with her and Thunder Rosa, like there's a matchup like you could go to that down the line, just a one-on-one match. But yeah, yeah.
No, I was about to say, and then at that, like Ruby, like I think her joining the division, I think she's like probably the most experienced person in the women's division right now. Like I would think outside of maybe Thunder Rosa, maybe I don't really know, but Ruby's been around for a minute, man. Like she's been around for a long time.
Yeah,
I feel like she adding her to the women's division. This is like that's gonna be sort of your vet in a way. Like she's been around for a long time. And like, I know she's probably going to be working in, like we talked about Sky Blue earlier, like doing the AEW stuff, like AEW, they already, sending out little teasers and stuff like that, like commenting on her posts and on Twitter and stuff like that, trying to, rile the people up and, cause I'm pretty sure she's going to be making the rounds as well. So yeah, man, Ruby Soho, she got I think she got a very bright future in AEW ahead. And I'm excited to see what she does outside of AEW as well, seeing as how talents can, roam and, do as what they please as long as it doesn't conflict with the AEW schedule.
Sure. Yeah. It seems like they let people go wrestle anywhere. So, but definitely here, there's a few different things. But yeah, the vet definitely aspect helps, I think could help a lot of people here. And it genuinely looks something that's positive about AEW just as a fan and, make fun of me if you will, but it almost seems like everyone is there. Like, everyone in wrestling is already a family, like I'm sure in the locker rooms and stuff. But for some reason, AEW feels more of that. It feels like everyone is there to like help each other and make the best possible product and art that is pro wrestling. And I feel like that they treat each other like a family. And I feel like that's somewhere she'll fit in very, very well, I think. I didn't really like this match, actually. The Battle Royal, it was just so messy. I don't like here we flip the card, it's the diamonds, so here's 4 people that just come out and like it's going too weird. Like don't worry if you're doing one by one, like it's not like ripping WWE off, really. I don't think, like, I don't know, I think it's one of the worst gimmicks that they got. It definitely turns me off. There was some cool stuff in the match and probably setting up some feuds, but it was kind of all over the place for me. I think I just need to say I need more Ty Conti and Anna Jay. I think we all need more Ty Conti and Anna Jay in our lives.
Like I definitely see where you're coming from with it. It can become sort of like too much in a way, like as far as like the format, because like I feel like when people come out, they like the crowd is trying to like react to that person and get the steam, but at the same time you got like 2 seconds later you got another person coming out, and then the crowd is like, oh well, what about this person that's getting their stuff in the ring? And then you got to pay attention to the person coming down the entrance ramp, and it can be a bit of a cluster at times. So I definitely get that. Like even with I sort of noticed that when Layla Hirsch came in, like she got a nice reaction. She came in the ring and people were like, oh, let's pay attention to Layla Hirsch. But then another person came down and they had to react to that. And it's like Layla Hirsch trying to get her stuff in the ring. It can be a cluster. I don't really think there's anything wrong with taking the Royal Rumble style format. I mean, so many other promotions and companies do it. I understand AEW wanting to add something different. I mean, I think that's sort of a good thing that they want to bring something different to the, instead of just going the usual format. But I think it sort of the Royal Rumble style format is very easy to follow instead of, bringing out people in batches at a time.
Yeah, it kills everyone's heat. It kills everyone's trying to get their shit in when they make their entrance. But by then, like the music's of other people's hitting and it's like it's frantic. It's very like, geez, throwing a lot at me, but yeah.
Hey, I'm about to say, let me add this in real quick. Like, I think I give it till, I'm gonna say next winter 2022. I get Jerry Cargill's gonna be AEW Women's World Champion, bro. I'm telling you. But she like legitimately looks like a star. I wish I had muscles like that. Like, you see this woman? She's unbelievable.
She's got
like,
muscles on muscles.
Like she got muscles on muscles. But I'm telling you, she's gonna be champion by, I'm gonna say by the time next Christmas roll around, not this Christmas, next Christmas rolls around, she will either have held the AEW Women's title or will be AEW Women's World Champion. I'm telling you.
Not a bold prediction, because she genuinely does look like a star. I still think I need to see more of the wrestling aspect, but she seems like someone Vince McMahon would be like, oh my God, I need this person like on my roster, because she just looks like a live action like superstar, like just looks like an action figure, or like just like a just jacked, genetically superior being here, and definitely whenever she talks, definitely, but it's definitely the wrestling that needs to improve for me. But you're saying not this year, so like in about a year and some change, she'll be evolved and better, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, definitely. I could see it. While I have you on the spot, Andrew, I'm going to put a huge dent in the show. Just cut the brakes. Because I was looking at the poster for this pay-per-view, Andrew, and I was just looking at all the talent on the poster, including someone that stood out to me on the poster, Mark Henry. Do you know where I'm going at with the All Out poster?
I think I have an idea. I think WH had DM me about this. But I think I know where you're going.
I'm just saying that
you might be trying to swerve me.
No.
I'm genuine diversity on the poster.
That's it. Yeah, I wasn't trying to swerve you at all. I'm just like, hey, there's a lot of white people in AEW.
It's like the thing about it is, when I saw the poster, it's like more so of a like, they do have a crop of Black talent that really should be more featured on the program. Like, I feel like even with somebody like Scorpio Sky, I feel like they just don't know what to do with Scorpio. Like the Men of the Year thing is like, okay, I guess. Like I'm not really into it personally, but I feel like I always look at like how hot Scorpio was when AEW's first had their legs under it, like when they first got on TNT, and like he was over as hell. Like, and I don't know what happened after that, or like at what point the steam fell off. Maybe it was the SCU breakup, maybe it was the pandemic, and people just sort of forgot maybe. But I feel like they could be doing so much more with him, and even with somebody like Sonny Kiss, I feel like they could. I feel like we had me, Nate, and Chris had a conversation about this on the NWA podcast. We sort of dove into like why we don't see more Sonny Kiss on Dynamite. I think it's because necessarily they don't really know how to present Sonny Kiss. And I feel like that's something they need to figure out. And Sonny Kiss is a talented performer, as we all know. Like, I feel like he can do so much more outside of the AEW dark stuff. Like, I feel like if you just find a way to present him on television and book him in a proper storyline, then I feel like it all works. And I don't think they don't have any issues putting people in the storyline. So that's another one where I'm kind of like I don't know why he hasn't been featured more. And even with Big Swole, like I'll hold back on Big Swole because I know she was open about having she had like a Crohn's flare up, and that's a very serious issue, and she was working through that. But it seems like she's back now, and I forgot who she brawled with at the casino, but was it Diamante? On the when they brawled on the way out, I think it was Diamante that she brawled on the way out with. Like there, when Swole got eliminated, she started brawling with somebody on the outside. Yeah, so I think maybe that's I'm gonna hold off on that because probably that's probably where they going. Hopefully that's get some time on Dynamite, or probably end up on Dark or Dark Elevation, but hopefully get some time on Dynamite. And like I'm thinking about some of the other Black talents in AEW, man, and it's just like they spotlighting Jade Cargill, but like you said, I feel like it's more so of a thing where they still think she's green. and she is in a way you can kind of tell, but there is sort of a diversity sort of issue like within all major wrestling companies. Like when you can really spread that around and look at it from like in an abundance of different positions. Like I feel like I feel like Ring of Honor does a good. I hope you don't mind me going on this, because
no, dude, this is why I asked you. No, yes. I completely asked you. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I think Ring of Honor does like a really solid job of spotlighting a lot of black talents. Like you see a lot of people like Fred Yehi, Lee Moriarty's there. I think Trisha Dora is in the semifinals of the Women's World Title Tournament. I think the spoilers got out that she isn't going to be in the finals, but like still, I think that they did a great job presenting her with the video package and stuff like that. Like with Impact, you look at people like Rich Swann. I think he was who was it? He was the second or the third Black Impact World Champion, man. And I'm trying to look at it from a bunch of different wrestling companies, but specifically speaking on AEW, I think I think sometimes when you have you need in these writing rooms, you need people of color. You need Black people to sort of pitch ideas so you can present people in a light where they're relatable to the audience that that wants to see them. Like myself, I want to see Black talents be presented in a really superstar-ish spotlight or superstar status spotlight. I want to see that. So I feel like it won't hurt to have somebody in there to be like, hey, how about we do this? Or hey, how about we do this? Or hey, they wouldn't really say that because even with Sonny Kiss, like you can't write. I feel like you gotta let Sonny Kiss be Sonny Kiss. Like there's no way to really script. You gotta like present people as they are. And I feel like AEW, they sort of have, it's a lot of white. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of white. So they know how to write for white people. And I feel like that's like, it's a diversity issue, honestly, bro, across a lot of pro wrestling companies. And I feel like the only way to get better is to have people of color in those positions so they can guide you along the way and not necessarily take over and steer the ship, but just be like, hey, this is how some people would say things, or they can just better communicate with the individual to pass along the message. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just a thing of like all companies just need to sort of diversify sort of the behind the scenes to just further communicate and sort of just make the product more broad to extend to audiences and extend to Black people, to extend to other people of color to just better communicate some of those characters better.
You got to diversify your bonds. Yeah. You got to do that.
There you go.
I genuinely think I brought it up because like I'm a white guy and I watch wrestling, but I find that WWE in the past few years, like my favorite wrestler, like legit favorite wrestler I get hyped to watch is a Japanese woman, Io Shirai. And I'm like, that's awesome that they've made her like this prominent character. When NXT moved to USA, the first match, the first person to come out was Io Shirai. And I thought that was such an awesome move on their part. And then I love the stuff that they are doing with I actually wish they never broke up the Hurt Locker, but I think WWE, I'm seeing like a bit more diversity than I do see in AEW. And I think that is something that I do kind of notice. And the poster for All Out is literally all these white people and Mark Henry. Yeah. And Mark Henry's not even on the fucking show. No, so yeah. Like, I'm just like, that's such a cop out on their part to be like, oh, we better put someone on. Someone must have noticed this and went, oh, we better let's just put Mark Henry on the show. He does commentary for Rampage. Fuck it. I do think that there could be some more diversity. And you know what, like you said, like you kind of said, they're trying to move in the better direction and stuff. Yeah, you know.
Like I'm looking at it, and I was just gonna say, like I'm hoping that, like I'm pretty sure I got a good idea of somebody. I don't know if you know who he is, but my guy Phil, I think he's at AEW and is going to be attending the media scrum. I got just knowing him, I got a pretty good feeling he's probably going to end up asking about the diversity in AEW. So I'm hoping he comes through with that, which I'm pretty sure he will, and I'm interested to hear whoever is. Now Tony Khan does some of these media scrums at the end, so I'm interested to see if he gets presented that question and how he reacts. Tony Khan is a person of color, so I would be interested to sort of hear how he reacts to that sort of thing. But you are right. When I think WH has sent me the poster early, and I was just like, oof.
Like Tony Khan.
I was like,
if I was in the scrum right now, I would say, Tony Khan, you brought in TNA legend Sting. You brought in TNA legend Christian Cage. Why aren't you bringing in TNA legend Monty Brown? What's wrong with you? What are we doing? Come on, bring him in. Yeah.
Now, there are, like, when you mention something like that, there are plenty of Black legends in wrestling on the scene right now. Like I wouldn't mind seeing Two Gold Scorpio in AEW. Honestly,
according to Two Gold,
like, I mean, if you bring if you bring in, you know, all these different people in, man, I couldn't see why you couldn't bring some of these people who are talented Black wrestlers who have reached that upper echelon of sort of superstardom in pro wrestling. But yeah, it's a good point, man, and I don't think it's something that's going to be fixed overnight in any promotion. No, AEW as well. So I think that all these promotions can do is to honestly just keep bringing in people of color to work behind the scenes to sort of have some influence, man. And I think that's how things will get better. It's the only way. Yeah,
and I'm sorry, guys, for like just going off the rails, but I thought it had to be said because I kept looking at this poster this week and I was like, damn, man, that's wild
for sure.
So let's go talk about a match with two white guys. Let's go to our next match. This could be it. This could be the last match of Jericho. We get the Y2J countdown clock, which kind of sounded like the original one. Looks exactly like the original one. The classic pyro, and it says Jericho's last match as it's MJF trolling the fans here as he comes out almost dressed like King George or something. MJF comes down to the ring. He says he's better than you, and he knows it. And he's going up against Chris Jericho. And the stipulation is if MJF beats him, Chris Jericho has to retire and he'll join the commentary team. That's what we're told here. Chris Jericho comes out to a guitar player playing Fozzy on the guitar, but the crowd's kind of singing along, I think. So the guitarist plays Judas, kind of, and the crowd sings along to it, but everything's kind of not matching. Maybe the cadence is off. The guitar player's playing certain parts too fast. This was ass. They should have just played the regular music. They should have just played the regular music. Here I am trying to sugarcoat it. This was bad, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Hey, Brett, I'm gonna let you finish. I know you gotta go through you about to break the match down, but I'm gonna just let you know my personal opinion about Chris Jericho for y'all folks who already don't know. So Brett, I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish doing your job, and then you kick it over to me when you're ready. Well, this was not a great entrance. Part of me thinks that they called it audible and said no, Jericho's winning because he can't go out with that as his last entrance, because like that was like, like they should have got Downstate. That made Downstate sound like Andre Bocelli. This was really bad. Yeah, the crowd didn't know what to do. It was just weird. It was like Boogs. It was like Nakamura. You want to know? It was like Cody's entrance at Revolution. Yeah, Downstate. Yeah, they made that sound good. So Jericho. No. It was that. It was that one when the dude was playing live and the crowd was just like, It wasn't good. So Jericho versus MJF. There's some arm drags early on here and some pinning attempts like inside cradles. Jericho hits a drop kick and a suplex at one point. I thought that it would be a bit more like aggressive. Like the feud has been going on for so long. And I know the story now is Jericho loses, he retires, but there's still a year plus of animosity. And I didn't quite feel like they were hitting that off the top enough for me. There's the Ric Flair strut, the Fargo strut. There's the heat seeker from MJF on the apron to Jericho, which is basically this like rope assist pile driver. And Jericho sells it like he's dead, but makes it into the ring at the 9.9 count here. Goes back outside the ring, and MJF goes for an acai moonsault to the outside, lands on his feet, but gets propped into the air for a pop-up apron bomb from Chris Jericho, definitely winking to his pal Kevin Owens there. There's then MJF back in the ring, who hits a code breaker on Jericho, but he comes back and Jericho nails the lion salt perfectly for a near fall. There's then a spine buster or like power bomb, avalanche Liger bomb from MJF off the top rope for a near fall. And then there's the Judas effect from MJF, and he pins Chris Jericho, but his foot was on the rope. Aubrey, the ref, calls the match, says MJF's the winner. Justin Roberts says, hey, too bad, Jericho has to retire. But this other ref comes down. This wasn't Bryce. I am blanking on
Paul Turner.
Paul Turner. Thank you. He comes down and is like, hey, Aubrey, you suck. Do your job. His foot was on the rope. How long you been doing this? So they look it over. They go to the tent. They look at the footage and they go, okay, we got to restart this match. So that's what they do. And it's a series of like roll-up attempts. There's a lion tamer, sort of, from Chris Jericho, a walls of Jericho. And MJF taps out. Chris Jericho does not retire. He does not have to join commentary, and we can all rejoice. Praise the Lord that Jericho is not joining commentary. I know, but Jericho beats MJF. I like this better than their last pay-per-view match, or I guess their last match because they had that singles one. But this wasn't anything like bad for me. I just didn't think it like hit on some of the other stuff. I think we were spoiled earlier in the night, but just with the tag cage match. But this had some cool stuff to it. It definitely picked up, and it was cool to see MJF do a moonsault to the outside, which you don't usually see him kind of pull out these wild moves. The storytelling was here for me. I could get into it. I wanted to see more of the lion tamer when he tried to do it, which was totally the finish, but he couldn't really quite hold it. But MJF still tapped. So, yeah. What did you think?
Mm-hmm. So, I'm gonna put away my my sort of rant about Jericho for a minute. And I was just like, the story towards the final stretch of the match. I will say it was interesting as far as like how they went about it and the false finish and they're basically the false finish when Jericho's foot was on the rope. I was like, okay, that was a cool thing. And mainly because of the crowd, how the crowd reacted to it. I was like, okay, since the crowd was into it, that sort of made me get into it. And I was like, okay, this is an okay thing. I'm cool with this. And, of course you could see what they was leading to with Jericho eventually getting his win back. And honestly, I thought for a split second that they were going to have MJF still beat him. Yeah. And then, we would have the unfortunate service of having to listen to Chris Jericho every Friday night yell and scream over Excalibur and Taz and Mark Henry, which nobody wants. I definitely don't want that. But honestly, Braden, I would just throw this idea out there. I was legit thinking I don't know if you could see this. I could definitely see like if MJF had one, Jericho is 100% the type of dude that will go back to WWE. And I don't mean necessarily leave AEW, but I could definitely see him popping up in one of those Saudi Arabia shows.
Saudi show for sure. Yeah.
Yes. Jericho's ego will not allow him to be forgotten.
All There's it takes, Andrew, like the Saudi prince needs to go, Vince, I want Chris Jericho versus Ultimate Warrior. Well, actually, we can't do that. We could do Chris Jericho versus we could bring Undertaker back. Book it. Yeah. I think Jericho will be Jericho will be in the WWE Hall of Fame, no doubt. But he's
going back. He's going back, bro.
not anytime soon. I don't think.
Not anytime soon. Yeah.
Eventually, like one day, he will definitely show face there again. But yeah,
I was gonna say to piggyback on what you were saying about MJF, like it was sort of nice to see him sort of break out the usual mode from what we see from him. Like he sort of did a lot of different stuff. And MJF, you give him his credit. He's like a really good wrestler. Like when he's like, well, like even before the AEW stuff, like MJF is like very, very talented. But I think his money is in the heel work, the mic work, like not giving too much and then bringing it out on these big shows. So I think this works for him. Like whenever it's time for these big marquee matches, that's when he'll give a little bit more. And then maybe one day when he gets there's a big world title match outside of the one he had against Mox last year, I believe. Like I think that's when he'll bring out the whole shebang.
Yeah. I definitely think he can bring it out. It's definitely his promo that's the good stuff. But probably some of his best work. I like seeing him do some of that stuff. You never really got to tell me how you really feel about Chris Jericho, but I imagine you think he's the GOAT, and you probably think he's the best, and probably agree with him in all of his political and personal beliefs.
Not at all. Wait, if you guys want to see, I'm not gonna waste. I'm not even gonna waste the time. But if you guys want to hear my opinions on Chris Jericho, go back to the upNXT archives and check out my battle against Way. And that's why I emptied the clip of Chris Jericho.
Maybe you should have emptied the clip on Way, then you would have won.
you know what? And this is where this podcast ends.
Yeah. So you're saying we're not going to go on the Chris Jericho Rager? Because that means that we're going to have to return the ticket we got for you, Andrew. Thought we were all going to go. You couldn't pay me to go on that thing. You couldn't pay me because I damn sure would go. Not me. You don't want to go on a cruise ship with wrestling fans and wrestlers and comedians and people? It sounds fun.
And I will pass on being a part of Chris Jericho's festivities. Hard pass. Very hard pass.
Yeah, I do want to try the bubbly though. I hope I one day get to try it. We go to our next match. It's kind of a match people are somewhat interested in. It's kind of the match that everyone's here for. Well, we get a video for it. It's Darby Allen versus CM Punk. The video, we see Darby Allen doing, best way to describe it, Darby stuff. Darby doing Darby things, meaning there's a body bag, there's a helicopter, and there's Darby jumping out of the helicopter. It's basically Jackass meets your weird Friends indie movie that he makes because he wants to be a director. But jumping out of things into water from high distances, like, can still be dangerous, no? Like, can you not still like break your legs if you like jump through water from a small, like high enough point? This guy's got to be careful. I know Jackass 4 got that pushback, that delay. So Darby's still doing the Jackass stuff. We get the clips of CM Punk and the huge return at Rampage, the first dance, and everything coming into this. And Darby comes out with Sting. And Darby's dad, Sting, goes, "Go on, son."
Darby's dad.
"I'm going to drop you off today at school. Go put in a shift. You got this. Good luck on your exam. You got this." Fist bumps his son and goes back into the tunnel. It's really weird. It's really great. It's just some wholesome father-son moment here in pro wrestling that you just love to see. But in the biggest news of the night, this overtops everything. Don't talk to me about debuts or returns or people jumping ship, forbidden doors. I'm talking about CM Punk wearing tights. Long tights. He pulled an Okada. He switched up his attire. He's wearing pants. It's clobbering time in these pants. Only in wrestling do we get mad about people wearing pants or not wearing pants. It's a whole thing. But yeah, CM Punk's wearing long tights, guys. What's up with that? What'd you think of the pants? You're a big fan of the pants. You love the pants. I hope you're wearing pants right now. We're doing this podcast via Zoom. Andrew's lost his mind.
Hey, bro. You are hilarious, dog. Oh my goodness. Because I saw that too. I was like, people was like making like a big thing out of Punk wearing tights. I was like when he came out, I saw it. I was like, oh, he's wearing tights. I was like, yeah. Okay. I was like, okay, he decided to wear tights this time. But I didn't really make a big deal out of it. Like I'm still laughing about the whole. You talk about dropping them off at school. You go put on the shift for his exam and all that. You crazy as hell, man. Like,
we got Sting dropping his kid off.
Can we get to the match, please? Can we get to the match, please?
So it's clobbering time, Chicago. This is the biggest thing to happen in Chicago since Donda. Honestly, this is it. Chicago's on a high right now, and CM Punk is back. The Chicago-made Punk is here to face Darby Allen, and he sits down. We got Darby in the corner doing his Raven sit down thing, his emo kid grunge thing, and CM Punk doing his classic cross-leg sitting thing. So it's a battle of the sitting down. I know we're waiting for that Malachi Black CM Punk sit down in a match, but we get the Darby sit down versus Punk sit down. It starts off with kind of some just classic wrestling here. CM Punk looks great, by the way. Like, he looks like he's in great physical shape. Clearly getting set for that Ricky Rabies heels role. But there's some takedowns and classic maneuvers. Darby, who's clearly smaller than Punk, hits Punk and drops him with a shoulder block, which kind of makes Punk laugh and pisses him off. He goes for the GTS early, but Darby escapes and goes outside and kind of regroups. Back in the ring, Darby gets Irish whipped through the turnbuckle, like to the outside. Just insane. This is a jackass stunt in itself here, getting thrown around out of the ring. There's then Punk.
You remember when Ember Moon did that a couple of years ago when she got thrown into the post and she like flew to the outside and like injured her shoulder?
Yeah, that's right. It's like just getting your body like just thrown around. I don't know how he does it. I don't even know if there must be an art to this by just inflicting pain on yourself. There's a surfboard from CM Punk here. There's a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker for a near fall. Darby comes back with a stunner and then like the standing coffin drop and then sets up for the sunset flip, the code red, but Punk gets out of that. There's a crossbody off the top, but then it's countered into, I think, a GTS, which sends Darby again flying to the outside. But Darby eventually wakes up and comes back. There's a tope sending Punk out. And then this huge swan dive to the outside, lays Punk out in the ring and goes for the coffin drop. But Punk, just in the nick of time, does his best Michael Myers, his best Undertaker, sits up as Darby hits, I guess, no dirt in the grave, you could say, no water in the pool. Punk
that is so bad, bro. Jesus, bro, you open to tonight, bro.
He goes up top and he's like laughing, but it's countered again into a crucifix, but Punk gets out of it. Darby then locks in this pinning like move that we've seen him win matches with, the Last Supper, but Punk kicks out of that. There's then Punk with these like kicks and lariats, and then he hits this GTS, the go to sleep, and CM Punk pins Darby Allen. And in his comeback match, and clobbering time indeed. How did you think CM Punk looked in his return after 7.5 years?
So I definitely, I thought it from the get-go, but I for sure think Darby Allen was the perfect first opponent for Punk, just because Darby is very fast individual and he sort of moves at a very rapid pace. And I think he sort of forced CM Punk to sort of match him in a lot of different ways. I think that was really cool. Like Punk being out of the ring for 7 years, I think he did just fine. He performed just well. I think he'll be fine going forward. Like, I don't think even with Punk, I don't think he would even be of the idea that he's going to be like cranking out like, oh my God type of matches. I think he is going to be very content with these style of matches. Like, they'll be very good to great considering who you ask. Like, I think he'll be in this range for the remainder of his run in AEW, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think he'll put on a lot of good matches. So yeah, I think he did just fine, coming out the gates for his AEW debut, man. And it was a solid match. And I don't think this hurt Darby at all. Like, I think Darby is so that he's being presented so well to the point where I think he's sort of hitting that line where he may not even need a title to necessarily be over. I don't think anybody will mind him having a title, but it just seems like he's doing so well on his own. I'm actually very interested to see how they book Darby coming out of this. Like, what's next for him, or like just the next steps that he goes in, or this character is going to be presented in. And it's going to be interested to see what they do with Punk as well. Like I'm interested to see what they line up for him next.
Yeah, like I could see people giving criticism that like, okay, like it was kind of more of a slower paced match, but I feel like CM Punk was that type of, he was in that era. Like, of course he was the guy, the indie guy that like almost made that transition, that crossover for everyone else following suit in like the world of indie wrestling. Like he almost made indie wrestling like more important. He was the guy, but he still has that like old school vibe in even throughout his WWE stuff. This week, me and Davey did a Summer of Punk show on the Patreon covering his 2011 run, like the Money in the Bank, the Pipe Bomb, all that stuff. And there's a lot of callbacks to that, like in this match, like a lot of similar stuff with John Cena in the match. There was also, I think it was you, I saw you tweet about what the Bret Hart 1, 2, 3 kid spot. What spot was that earlier in the match?
So it was like at the beginning where Darby gave him an arm drag, or he took him over. He like sort of flipped him over, did like a MMA like judo type thing, and CM Punk gave him the whole like, it was the same thing Bret Hart did when he faced Sean Waltman. Sean Waltman gave him like a quick arm drag, and Bret was like, okay, like I didn't expect that. And then Punk did the same thing. He sort of gave like a little smirk to the camera, and I was like, that's why I was like, good on the production team for catching that. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure that I don't know if they were clued in on that, but it just seemed like they caught it just at the right time. And like I think that was just a good job on them sort of catch that. It was a good little tribute to Bret and Sean Waltman.
Yeah, like Punk for me always had that old school mentality mixed in with some of the stuff. Like nothing he does looks the most graceful. He's like almost sloppy in like a good way. So here it's almost like he was just kind of coming out the gate after 7.5 years, like just kind of testing the waters, trying to muscle memory, see what he remembers to do. It was almost like he was doing kind of basic wrestling moves in this match, like the surfboard, the abdominal stretch, the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. It was kind of normal stuff until the end where he's hitting like his calf kick, the leg lariat stuff. And of course the GTS. I know we are all waiting for that Pepsi plunge, but that's definitely, I guess, coming down the line. I wasn't mad at this at all. It was still crazy. Like I didn't believe that this guy would be wrestling until I had to see it. And well, we got to see it, but I think this is still like step one of like what's going to happen. Like step one, phase one here of like where we go with CM Punk. And there's definitely so many matches. So I'm definitely willing to see where it can go. And it definitely helps all these young guys that whoever like ties up with him gets to talk to him and learn and do all this stuff and gets attention and eyes on all these things. This will definitely be the most ordered AEW pay-per-view just because
without question,
CM Punk was wrestling on it. And then you got to check out all the other stuff and hopefully you stick around. I thought AEW had a huge misstep with the first Dynamite after Punk showed up on Rampage. Should have started with like a Bucks match or like something. Instead, it was like an episode of Dark. And I just thought you probably turned a lot of people away who were checking in for the first time. But I think if you checked out this pay-per-view, a lot of people will be like, oh, okay, like maybe I do want to watch this stuff. This match didn't blow me away by anything. It was just sort of like an exhibition spectacle kind of thing to see him wrestle again. But I'm interested to see where he goes from here. And I'm interested to see.
I think.
Oh, yeah.
No, I was going to say, I think next, I'm going to make a prediction. I take Punk's next feud is going to be against Will Hobbs.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right.
That's going to be next.
Will Hobbs and CM Punk. Interesting. I mean, there's so many different things with so many different young guys. I know obviously you could go with the Kenny Omega route down the line. I know I said it time ago, and I know he just said it, I think in an interview, but CM Punk teaming up with Daniel Bryan to face the Young Bucks is a main event.
That would.
Yeah. Like, yeah, definitely.
Oh man. Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool to see CM Punk back and tied up. And yes, he's wearing long pants. I can't believe it. Oh my God. The world's on its axles. But super cool. I can't wait to see more from Punk. After the match, Sting's dad, he comes back.
Dad.
Sorry, Darby's dad, Sting. Darby's dad. Sting comes out. He comes to the ring and he's like, "You did a good job, son. You did you gave it your best shot. You did an okay, and they do the code of honor, the handshake here, which I assume they were going to set up Sting versus Punk, but I guess that's not the route we're going. Punk leaves, he goes up the ramp, and then he doesn't know which tunnel to go through. So he points at the face tunnel, he points at the heel tunnel, and he listens to the crowd and realizes he's got to go through the face tunnel. He's got to make sure he goes through the right one because he's still a baby face. But I thought that was pretty funny. We go to an announcement for their next pay-per-view, which is happening November 13th, I believe, which is a Saturday. AEW Full Gear, which is happening. What do you think are some predictions that's going to happen on that show?
See, man, I was like, I want to say I was like halfway set on a Miro versus Danielson TNT title match, but I was like, I initially thought, like I said earlier, I thought we were going to get some type of confrontation between those two at the Arthur Ashe show. But then I slowly realized that like Full Gear was probably like, well, I mean, ain't nothing wrong with like a 7-week, 8-week build up to a title match like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure nobody would complain about, a good solid build to a feud. I'm thinking like for a title match, man, like as far as the AEW title, do you go Omega and Danielson this early? Like, it's 2 months from now, essentially, because I mean they pushed the date back. It's November 16th. So okay. it was going to be November 6th, but they pushed it back to the 16th. So I mean that's a good 2 month bill right there to a pay-per-view. So I mean, you could go that route. As far as the women's title goes, I think they probably go like a different challenge, like much like Chris Statlander. Like they probably go somebody like who's on the up and up, like maybe who you think they could throw out there? Like maybe they go with a Julia Hart, maybe just somebody different.
No, I'd say I'd say Full Gear. You do the Soho. Oh wait, maybe Soho's in Queens. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe you do. Yeah, that's tough. November
because like.
It's November 13th. The Saturday is the show, and I feel like you could just 13. You could just do strike while the iron's hot. Do Danielson versus Omega. Like fuck it, why not? Just go. Just why not? You can do it, then just do it. Like the dude's not going to wrestle forever. Let's get this out of the way. It's what we all want to see. Give the people what they want.
Braden, what New Japan legend is Moxley going to be facing at Full Gear? If you just had to take a quick guess.
Ishii.
Ooh.
Give me Tanahashi. I want Moxley Tanahashi at AEW pay-per-view, 100%. Yeah. The boogeyman of New Japan says he is Moxley. So I want him to face everyone and then beat Tanahashi. There's a few different things you could do. I don't know what's going to happen with Hangman Kenny, but that still needs to happen. So Kenny can never drop the title until we get to Hangman. That's just the rules. Yeah. That's just law. I can't. It's not my discretion.
You want to know what, Braden? I don't know exactly for Full Gear, but I do have a match prediction for that Arthur Ashe show.
Okay.
Adam Cole and the Bucks versus Danielson, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus.
Yeah, that could be wild. Yeah, definitely book it. 100%. 100%. I mean, yeah, we'll get to that. Let's go to the co-main event of the evening. That's right. Co-main event QT. Yeah. QT Marshall going up against, don't call him Big Show. No Marshall. More BS.
There we go.
We got Paul White going up against QT Marshall. What do we think of Big Show's MVP inspired gear?
You talking about this?
There's a whole bodysuit kind of thing here. It was weird. This was the draw. I mean, this is why this pay-per-view is going to be downloaded and bought a million times, because this is QT Big Show. I genuinely think they put this on the card to allow people to get their washroom break in, get their smoke break in, because we've been just sitting and watching a lot of wrestling nonstop, and we needed something to quickly go, hold on, I'll be right back.
No, I definitely think this was the let me down match because I mean you can't just go from like Punk directly to that. Like you just can't. Like you had to have some type of filler.
Yeah.
And then like the whole show it was kind of like straight through. Like, and I do kind of like my wrestling like that, just like all the way through. No thrill, no filler in between. And like, I mean, at some point you had to have some type of filler in there. And I think this was the perfect spot for it. And like, I remember me and you were talking about it. I was like, if this match is anything longer than probably like 5 or 6 minutes, I'm done. But you know what? I was like, you know what? I ain't even mad at it because I mean, it served its purpose. Like the match was there to sort of just let the crowd go do what they had to do. Like, hey, you just endured a lot. You just took in a lot, so go whatever, and then come back for the main event. So I mean, like it wasn't too much. Like I sat there and I watched it, and it was, it went by quick. And Big Show got to do his, he beat the hell out of Aaron Solo. But you know what? I will give some type of props to QT Marshall because I actually read an interview today that he did. And he did something real cool for Aaron Solo. He was like, QT was supposed to be in that Casino Battle Royal at Double or Nothing. And he lied to Tony Khan and said he was injured so Aaron Solo could get in.
Oh,
good guy, QT Marshall, man. So kudos to him for being a good sport and a team player. But yeah, this match did not need to go anything more than 5 or 6 minutes. So yeah,
yeah. This I thought was just going to be Big Show punching me in the face and then pinning him. There was a few things like QT got some stuff in where he's like beating him down, working the leg, and there's interference, and in the factory are there and stuff. It's eventually there's chops, and he rips up QT's chest at one point. But Paul White beats up he does the punch on Camarado, who almost like no sells it. So they're definitely going to have to maybe go down to. I mean, you don't have to. Please don't. Really, what am I saying? Well, I think it was a choke slam that put away QT, and Paul White gets the win, and Tony Schiavone is so happy. I wish Big Show poured a smoothie over him, but I love my QT, but I'm sorry, I don't think it's pay-per-view worthy. But again, maybe this was here for the pit stop, the pit break in the match. But shout out QT and his pay-per-view gear. I mean, diamonds and studs and everything. That factory money, getting paid.
You know what? You asked me for my full gear prediction.
Yeah.
Here we go. QT Marshall versus Mark Henry at full gear. I'm telling you right now. QT is going to be the Dolph Ziggler of AEW.
Right.
I'm telling you.
Right. Well, maybe we'll get Paul White versus Mark Henry at.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, well, I'm just happy to see QT on a pay-per-view. He deserves all the shine for helping out people in the industry and everyone here at AEW and the factory and all that nightmare stuff. Well, we get an announcement here of Jon Moxley and Minoru Suzuki taking place this Wednesday, and Jon Moxley has a promo here. And I said right before he started talking, oh no, he's going to tell us that he's going to kill somebody again. And that's exactly what he says. He says he's going to take him and put his body in the ground. And it's the nasty natty Cincinnati. And that's when it's going to happen. And the crowd's going to love it. So that's this Wednesday. I'm super stoked for this match. Can't wait to see
BDElite.
That's it. BDElite. This Wednesday, we'll be chatting all about it. We get another promo from someone else, Malachi Black, in a black suit. He's in that dark room that he loves hanging out in all the time. He's talking some trash about the Nightmare Family, including Dustin. And it looks like he's not done with Cody and the whole crew. And it's time to pay the boatman's toll. So, Malachi Black wants to kick some people in the head.
That equals that Cody is getting his win back.
That's right. You're damn right. The hero is coming back. The Highlander of AEW is coming back.
Cody is 100%. Anybody who doesn't think Cody's getting his win back, you out your damn mind. He's getting his win back. So some way, somehow along this journey, Cody is getting his win over Malachi Black. We
don't take kindly to Cody slander here on the show, okay? Cody is the GOAT. He is everything you need in pro wrestling. He's got the great gear. He's got the great theme song. He's got the great wife. He's got everything. He's the guy in wrestling.
Well, I can tell you something Cody didn't do great. That promo he cut a couple months back, when he's doing the whole thing about the biracial promo, and
it's fine. His kid's biracial.
AEW's camera crew just so happened to cut to the white guy in the Black Lives Matter shirt, which was something. So
it was very Nation of Domination when they cut to that one white guy who just puts his hand up. You know what I'm talking about? You know that everyone knows that clip from that one dude. The dude just very on the nose there. But none of that matters because Cody's kid is biracial. I don't know if you knew that, but biracial.
All right, man.
It's like Logic.
let's just get on to the main event, bro. Come on, let's go.
We go to the main event of All Out. The main event is the AEW World Championship on the line. The champion, Kenny Omega, defending against the Impact champion, Christian Cage. But this is not title v title. It's just the AEW title that's on the line. Justin Roberts says that Kenny Omega's from somewhere near the Waffle House near the airport in North Carolina. And Christian Cage is from Toronto. Stand up. I guess, is Christian the original? I mean, Christian's from Toronto, so he's the original CLB, right? The creepy little bastard, the certified lover boy. I think that's what they used to call Christian on Monday Night Raw, the CLB. I'm pretty sure someone knows what I'm talking about. Was it Jericho or Austin? Creepy little bastard.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. They used to call him that.
So there's some sort of like a slap fight here. Kenny and Cage clearly loved what Nia and Charlotte did on Raw a few weeks ago. They start beating each other up here. Christian sends Kenny to the outside and dives like off the top turnbuckle post onto the outside onto Kenny here as they're throwing each other into the guardrails and everything. There's a table that's brought into play, and Kenny jumps off the apron and double stomps the table, which then like breaks onto Christian. This spot is pretty nasty, actually. It looks awesome. Then Kenny sets him up to go and do his moonsault off the guardrail, but completely slips, lands on his feet, but the crowd is giving him shit. So then just to make things like almost seem like it didn't happen at all, jumps and then effortlessly hits this moonsault. I don't know, like obviously he slipped and stuff, but like, to hit this is insanity. So good on him. I'm happy that he didn't actually eat shit and get hurt here, but doing this moonsault on a guardrail and then landing it onto Christian just with such like veracity and just looked great. In the ring, he hits the sushi garoshi, the suplex lift into the ushi garoshi. There's then a near fall. Christian comes back with some chops and some slaps. Kenny goes for the fireman carry into the you can't escape, but oh my God, Christian escapes and hits a reverse tornado DDT. And as I shouted on our watch along, hey, he escaped. The rest of the now arena start chanting, he escaped. He escaped. There's the V trigger from Kenny, which puts Christian down, and another one, some snap dragons, and Christian's looking a little groggy. There's then another table that's set up here, and Christian, who comes back on the apron, runs at Kenny. It's almost like Kenny's trying to do a snapdragon through the table, but it's a spear from Christian that sends Kenny crashing through this table, which looked awesome. And then Don Callis, who takes off his like bubblegum pink suit, starts fanning Kenny like, wake up, Kenny, wake up. He gets Kenny back in the ring. Christian sets up for the spear, but it's to the back of Kenny, like almost like a spear to the spine, which looked awesome. And then he hits another spear, which Kenny does like a full like flip rotation. Just looks like his neck is bumping all over the place, but he kicks out. Christian doesn't know what to do, but Kenny comes back and hits the rain trigger, which is the like rainmaker arm clip into the V trigger, but Christian kicks out. There's a Christian Cage clover leaf, almost like a lion leaf with the lion tamer knee into it here. This is when the Good Brothers come out. Carl Anderson looking very relaxed with Luke Gallows trying to make a distraction here, which allows Christian to gain the upper hand, just like how he won the Impact title. Hits the kill switch. Kenny sells it like death, but he kicks out at 2. This is when Don gets in the ring, and the ref totally should have kicked him out of here. Christian and Kenny are fighting on the top rope, and Kenny gets Christian up on his shoulders, electric chair, and jumps off the top rope, hitting an avalanche super one-winged angel. And we know ain't nobody kicking out of a normal one-winged angel, and definitely not off the top. Kenny Omega pins Christian Cage to retain the AEW championship. Damn. What'd you think?
So I definitely think this was the second best to their first match that they had on the Rampage show. I don't think this match was as nearly as good as the first one, and maybe that just had to do with this crowd at All Out. Like, bro, like we all knew something was happening after this. Like, it was just like it was just so obvious, and in a good way, not in a bad way. Like, I think everybody was just sort of like not disinterested or not uninterested in the match. It was more so like, okay, can we sort of, get to what's about to happen after? And I think that's more the like general consensus that everybody was thinking about. But they did go out there and have a solid match. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it was better than the one they had in Pittsburgh. I think that one was definitely way better than this one. But I think for what it was, Omega and Christian did go out there and have a solid match, and it was. If you would have asked me, I did this wouldn't have been the main event, but that's obviously before we knew what was to come, and that was to set up, everything else going forward. So, it was a solid main event match, man. I don't really think it was something that was out of place on the card at all.
Yeah, it's like before this, we weren't sure if this was going to be the main. Would Darby and Punk be the main? I'm happy Darby and Punk wasn't the main. Mm-hmm. It definitely it served its purpose being in here. I'm kind of on your side. I really like that Rampage match that they had where he killed him with the kill switch into the chair and won the Impact title. It was like kind of a shocker. It was kind of fun on the spot. It was good. This one, I feel like there's a better match there that maybe it just didn't happen. I didn't dislike this, but definitely the looming, oh my God, what's going to happen after it? Can we just get to that? Can we just get to that? We know Christian's not winning the title. We know it. So like there was some cool bites and some stuff, but we all knew like Christian wasn't. But I still enjoyed it. But you're right. It wasn't my match of the night. There was definitely a few other things I liked over this, but definitely didn't hate it. Christian can still go, man. He looks fantastic. And I know Kenny is not everyone's cup of tea and can be kind of silly as of late, but still really good in the ring. And I know he slipped on that guardrail, but then hits it even better. Just awesome. But this is where things get interesting. The Young Bucks come out down to the ring. The Elite usher a beatdown on Christian Cage. And this is where Jurassic Express come out. They're going to make the save, but they get beat up. This is where there's a series of yes chants echoing out through the arena here in Chicago. Kenny Omega grabs a microphone and says, He says, Chicago, you understand. Best in the world this, best in the world that. Mentions Urkel again here. Mm-hmm. And did I do that? And maybe he says that a little bit later. And later. Yeah, he says, no one's on my level. No one can face me. Who am I even supposed to face? Anyone who's on my level is already retired or already dead.
Or not here.
Yeah. And cue Adam Cole, baby. Yes. Adam Cole is all elite. He comes out with some pretty sweet music on the first listen. I was like, yes, already better than whatever it was you were using for like a few months there at the end of NXT. Adam Cole walks out. He comes down to the ring. Black and gold t-shirt, of course, all elite, baby, with the shoes to match, leather jacket. He stands in the ring, and the Elite, might I add, look like they've seen a ghost. Mm-hmm. But Adam Cole super kicks the dinosaur. Oh my God. What? The Elite beat down on Jurassic Express and Christian. And we get the Elite with the elite kiss. Oh, did I fucking miss this? Where the Young Bucks kiss Adam Cole on each side of his cheek. Just some wholesome family content. This is where Kenny once again grabs the microphone and says, did I do that? He says, what? You thought he was dead, didn't you? Just fantastic. I'm losing my mind.
I'm about to say, let's break this down.
Yeah, okay.
This is like a whole thing in its own. And like, we even have more after this, man. But like, Adam Cole is officially the Finesse King. Officially. Officially the Finesse King. Like, and let's be real. He had a fantastic run in NXT, bro. Like, anybody that says anything other than that, they're lying to you. Like, he had a great run in NXT, probably one of the best runs in NXT history, if not the best run in NXT history. Like,
not even NXT, WWE, man. Like just probably, overall, like the Undisputed Era stuff was so hot. Of course, he was a star before, but that run was awesome. In my opinion, I know I was there, but Johnny versus Cole at TakeOver New York, the 2 out of 3 falls, instantly one of my favorite matches of all time. Like, that run he had in NXT was just awesome. And he turned whatever all this was down. We there was rumors he was leaving. There was rumors that he might sign. He's offered this, he's offered that. But to see him walk out here, he instantly fits. He looks like he belongs here. He's part of this crew. He's part of this family. I've said on shows before, I've watched wrestling for a long time, but the era that like I was already still watching. I never stopped, but the era that really like got me was with Adam Cole and the Elite and the Bucks and all that stuff. Like, I just was super into this like on-screen relationship that all these guys have, and to see it being brought back to life here, literally back from the dead, Adam Cole. I'm like, you have my attention. You have all my money. He looks like a key player. And you're right. Dude finessed, like, dude walked and shows up here looking like a superstar. He was going to be losing to Jeff Hardy and that samurai cop dude carrying cross on Monday Night Raw. And instead, he's out here. He's going to be like another big deal and like hanging out with his boys, hanging out with his wife. Yeah. Why wouldn't he have done this? What a great move. And I was so over the moon to see him here.
This was definitely, I think, the best decision that Adam Cole could have made. Like, I was even saying on podcasts, like, I don't think in this scenario he could have made a bad decision when you look at the context of everything. Like, he had to stay with WWE, went to the main roster and made bank, and is still 31 years old, not old at all. And then he could have went to All Elite Wrestling a couple years later, or he can go now and then have the time of his life and probably get booked way better than he probably would on the main roster. So I think he definitely made a smart choice. And then he left WWE on such a good note, man.
Yeah.
Like, he went there and had a great run in NXT, and then now he took all that momentum, and now he's in AEW, coming off of one of the best runs of his career. Like, Adam Cole is in a great spot right now, man. Like, he made a very smart business decision, and that's what it's about. Like, I think going forward, you're going to see more people sort of follow in that formula. Maybe if they do decide to go to WWE, like, they'll probably sort of take after similar steps that he took and be like, oh, NXT's done. Oh, well, I'm out. And like you just said, now he looks like he fits right in. Like, he's with his friends, and like, I'm pretty sure the booking's going to be more decent, more better than, if he would have decided to stay with WWE. So yeah, man, Adam Cole is in All Elite Wrestling, man. He definitely, like, so like, as soon as he came out, dude looked like that's where he belongs. So yeah, man. Hey, Brad, I was going to ask you, like, for somebody that consistently tunes into NXT, like, how big of a hit is Adam Cole being gone from NXT? Like, just do you think they just going to slap Johnny Gargano in that role? Like, that
it's tough, man. It's so tough. Honestly, it's a big hit. It's a really big hit. And that's probably why they're moving in the different directions that they are, because Johnny, Ciampa, Cole, they're definitely the core of NXT. And now, like, the one key player, Undisputed Era is broken up as well. Like, there's just
Bobby Fish gone.
Yeah. Like, there isn't no more Tyler Rust. Like, there's just so much missing now in NXT that is gonna, like, tear it apart. And Cole is a big piece of it. Like, yeah, like, think of it, not even just like being the guy, whether it was Undisputed Era with the War Game stuff, but the merch, like, everyone did the gold and black shirts and he's so over. I don't know how they messed it up. He's instantly one of the best talkers in WWE either. I know Vince McMahon looks at him. A lot of us look at him and go, oh, he's really short, but it doesn't really matter. He grabs a microphone here. It's not over, ladies and gentlemen. As Adam Cole says, who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby? He says, with an amazing line here. And, he's finessing and he's got to come correct. He had this one in the chamber ready. He says, the Elite is the most dominant faction in the history of professional wrestling. Right away, just throwing the dirt on the coffin that is Undisputed Era. Too soon, bro. Too soon. He says, there's no chance in hell that anyone can stop us. And Kenny Omega says, well, isn't that a happy ending? And Q, are you ready, folks? No, it's not the final countdown. It's the flight of the Valkyries.
Oh, my heart was so hurt when I didn't hit it.
Yeah.
I did that so bad.
It was probably too much money, man. Was it? Who's the band? Europe, I think. Yeah, they probably wanted too much money. They wanted too many euros. So Flight of the Valkyries hits. Are you ready for it? Holy shit. Yes. Bryan Danielson comes down to the ring, cleans house, lighting up these guys, the Elite, as they run with their tail between their legs, standing tall with Christian, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus, because Daniel Bryan's got to support the earth and the dinosaurs and all that green. Daniel Bryan, sorry, don't call him that. That's his dead name. Okay, Bryan Danielson. Yeah. Bryan Danielson, which they said to JR like 700 times. Bryan Danielson. It's Bryan Danielson. Say it. Say it 5 times in the mirror. Bryan Danielson. And he appears because he is here. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, is moving the needle here. Did I say there was a boom in wrestling? Because there is definite a boom in wrestling. CM Punk started it, the domino effect. Then we got Adam Cole coming out. And now to top things off, Bryan Danielson is here. Bryan Danielson is all Elite. Wow. I don't even know what to say. I was losing my mind.
Bro, it is. Like, if there was anybody that I thought was going to ride it out with WWE and be there for life, probably it's going to be him, considering like the whole comeback thing and all that. But like, Brad, I don't know if you had a chance to see that interview he did with Barstool Sports, and he was like, the interview had asked him like, what he thought about WrestleMania 37 recently, and Bryan said something that I think caught a lot of people's eye, but I don't think a lot of people really believe that he would actually leave. He was like, he didn't feel anything. He was like, it was just like he was out there, he saw the people, and he was like, oh, this is cool. Okay, let's go do the match. And it was just like, that was it. Like, he's legitimately said he didn't feel like any like real emotion. And like once I heard that, I was like,
he gone.
I think I was like, it might be a possibility he might leave. Because I mean, like, Bryan always seemed like the type of dude that wanted to like sort of end things or wrap up things or just go about things the way that he sees fit. And I don't think that WWE was going to present him with necessarily that option. Like, when you look at that sort of world title scene on SmackDown right now, it's all about Reigns. That's like, yeah. I can't even see anybody right now that could probably take the title off. The only person that even remotely comes to mind to me is Big E, and I don't even know how they're going to go about that. But that's a whole different thing. But like with Danielson, man, like him leaving WWE, that's, I mean, you could kind of say it's a hit regardless. I mean, you kind of say debated both sides. I mean, they moving on, whatever. Like, they back to doing whatever they doing now. But like him not being there and not being an option, considering the amount of goodwill he has and the amount of fan base that he's like garnered over the past decade, like, dude has like been a key factor in most of their storylines for a great period of time, even when he was not in ring, when he was just doing the general manager stuff. So yeah, man, him being in AEW now, like, I can only imagine the matchups that people are going to have. Like, honestly, I know the money is always going to be in a Bryan Danielson babyface. I mean, like, the dude is just like natural babyface, but that I'm pretty sure you remember that heel run he had back in 2018, early 2019.
Of
that
course.
was like that was great. And I would honestly love to see him. I'm pretty sure you probably, I don't know if you've seen that idea out there floated around of him like having this like group of young rappers like Lee Moriarty and Willie Yuta and Daniel Garcia and him like taking him under their wing and they just like running roughshod over AEW under his guidance and stuff like that. That would be something cool, man. But like it was just like dude, that reaction that he got, it was just cool to see. I think, of course, a lot of people were expecting to hear the final countdown, but I mean, you know, when they saw him come through the tunnel, like the reaction was, you know, all the same, man. So yeah, AEW they got Braden, they got a lot of steam right now, bro.
This is the boom. The needle. Like I know when Moxley came in, he calls his move after the paradigm shift. This is it. This is I'm 30 years old, and I was a little too young in the moment to see, you know, Hulk Hogan turn heel in WCW. I was too early. I was too young to see these like, the man we don't speak of. I was too young to like be in that moment of this like wars of different wrestling companies that were like both like very prominent with really big stars. And now I genuinely feel like this is the first time. Like, yeah, TNA jumped ship Kurt Angle jumped ship to TNA and like, cool. That was something. And Moxley jumped here to AEW and Jericho and stuff like that all was like the nice, like the pillars here to like set the groundwork. But this is definitely like needle moving. All your friends who watch WWE, maybe don't watch this show, are going to have to tune in now because you got them with CM Punk. Cool. Well, if they didn't get you with that, they get you with Daniel Bryan. Of course, he's going to be this. He was just in the main event of WrestleMania. Like, literally. That's crazy. He is always going to be the B+ player over there. Where over here, he's going to be this guy who's just like, hey, I just like wrestling. I want to wrestle.
Legend.
Yeah. Why can't I wrestle Tanahashi? What do you mean? Why can't? So he left, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to fight Tana. He wants to fight Okada. He wants to fight Kenny. He wants to fight the Bucks. I'm sure there's so many things that this guy wants to do, and he's going to be able to do it here. And yeah, this is this moment. This was the moment here of this paradigm shift. This click. The needle has moved because the world of wrestling was changed when Punk came back, and that to me as a fan, like Punk's cool, but that's second tier now because I've mentioned on the NXT show and everything. I've already said on this show, like Adam Cole for me is just one of my favorite guys. Like he can sell ice to an Eskimo when talking and cutting promos. And then when it comes to his in-ring stuff, he's amazing. He's just a modern guy that I love. Daniel Bryan shows us that he's not done and can wrestle and has wrestled like this is this new era. I can't wait to see the different matchups and stuff, but this is the new boom, the new wave. The cool show. Let's say it here. I mean, everyone keeps saying, bro, NXT's dead. Guys, WWE's dead. It's over. Pack it in, Vince. Let's go. Got Punk and Danielson and yeah, big show.
I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you to chime on this, man. Like, think about all the people that have been tuning in NXT to see Adam Cole over the past 4 years, and then now, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure most people who watch NXT are familiar with, you know, social media and keeping up with everything and all the different news out there and stuff like that. But let's say just for those few people who are, you know, they just tune in just to tune in and they like, oh, where's Adam Cole? You look on whatever social media and see he's in AEW or what's, you know what I'm saying? And like, you just never know the domino effect of those three guys coming back to wrestling / leaving WWE and going to AEW, man. Like it's an exciting time in the business, man. And then at that, it's not even the fact that they'll only be wrestling in the AEW because a lot of these guys have deals in their contracts where they're able to go and work certain independent shows. So now you'll see it start to spread the wealth a little bit. Like it's exciting, man. And I know for sure, like Danielson is probably going to end up doing something with New Japan. Like it may not be, he might not be able to go to Japan now, but I can definitely see him doing something with NJPW Strong. Like they have a solid show. Like that's a good 1 hour program. And I know Ishii was just in the States and Tanahashi was just in the States to work some shows over there. Suzuki's going to be on that at the tape this next month and this month in Texas. And I mean, you just never know, man. So like AEW, bro, they got so much stuff they could promote like coming up to this week. Like you could promote either Adam Cole or Danielson and split them up between this week and next week, or you can do them both on the same show. Like you got Suzuki and Ruby Soho making their appearances this week. But AEW they got a lot of goodwill and a lot of steam going forward, man. So like when you mentioned NXT, man, I just don't know how they like try to, I think they still gonna have their viewers in. Like I don't think that's gonna change, but it's just like momentum wise, AEW just like has like all of that. Like
yeah. I mean, we got CM Punk coming back. That brings in different people. Cole brings in a whole different era of people, and same with Bryan brings in everyone. I think everyone's kind of on. We all agree, Bryan Danielson's just awesome, and the crossovers. Obviously, you could go Kenny Bryan right away. But Danielson versus Ishii sounds like a dream match made up in heaven, where I give them an hour to just kill each other. It sounds great. There's so many different things that you could do here, but this genuinely felt like an awesome moment in wrestling because it wasn't WWE and it still like gave you everything. This show had your top. I love that tag match in the cage, and it just delivered, and then everything else was just like bonus, and the ending here was momentous. Like it changes everything in wrestling. Where are we going to go from here? No wonder they got an extra show on Fridays, because they have too many cooks. They're going to be cooking up, because I can't wait to see all the different matchups and stuff that we go through and the storylines.
Hey, Braden, you want to know what I think? Over the next 2 years, we're going to see a lot of talents from WWE's women's division start to head over to AEW.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, like I feel like we really about to see, like I'm not gonna go there and start like naming like Sasha Banks and shit. Like I don't know about that. Like I feel like that's her dream. Like that's what she wants to do. But like if there does come a time when she has an option on the table, right, you just don't know. Well, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like even some of those underutilized talents in the women's division, man, they looking at what's going on right now. Like you just never know.
I think it's and not just the women, but in the men, like Daniel Bryan was someone who, like we said, was in WrestleMania, and now he's here. So he left. Adam Cole was just at takeovers and being like the main guy over in NXT, and he left. So it's like literally now anyone can leave, because in WCW, it was Ted Turner throwing around his money, getting the outsiders and all this stuff and the big guys. And now over here, we got Tony Khan just throwing it around.
Pro wrestling fan, Tony Khan.
The fantasy booker playing his video game in this alternate world where we live, but it's real life. And he's just pulling the strings and paying them out and bringing these people in and creating what is like good content. WWE's just been in this slump for a long time, and it was like waiting. It's like, yo, watch the throne. Like they were fucking up for too long, and they were slipping, and now it's time that things are coming in. I'm really interested to see where they can take it. I know sorry, I keep saying this. I'm like JR, but Danielson grabbed a microphone after the pay-per-view went off the air, and he says there's a few different reasons. He loved where he worked before, and he still left. There's reasons why. Number one, the great talent in AEW. When you see me here and CM Punk here and Christian here and Ruby Soho, thank the original members of AEW. The second reason, God damn, you guys are the best fans in the world. And the third reason, I am a wrestler. I never left wrestling. I took wrestling wherever I went. I said wrestling when I wasn't supposed to say it. Now I'm here to goddamn wrestle. So yeah, Bryan Danielson's going to fucking wrestle here. And I'm excited, as the fans, all of us should be. Professional wrestling. Yeah.
that 6-man tag at Arthur Ashe. Remember I said that, Brady.
What is it going to be? Yeah, Jurassic Express.
Adam Cole and the Bucks versus Jurassic Express and Danielson.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of dinosaur technically is Luchasaurus? Is he the kind that eats other dinosaurs, or vegetarian? Because that might change Bryan Danielson's choice on whether he wants to tag with the dinosaur there. There's so many different things you could do. I'm so excited. I was super stoked to see Adam Cole show up, but we knew Danielson was here, and what a great thing. And it makes you want to tune into this Wednesday on Dynamite. Like, how could you not? Right. So They knocked it out the park with this show. What were your highlights? I think I was pretty clear, and I think you're on the same page for match of the night. Goes to that
question.
cage. Yeah.
No question. Like that was for sure match of the night for me. Like one of the best matches of the year so far. One of the ones that I added to my list of notes that I mentioned earlier. And it was cool to see Ruby Soho debut for AEW. I'm excited to see how she's presented going forward. And of course, the big two surprises at the end of the night were very, very, very special. And not to gloss over, not to sort of go over this, but yeah, Miro and Eddie Kingston had a good opener to start the show. Miro is on the run of his career so far. So yeah, like I said, man, they got a lot of momentum right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how they follow up on Wednesday.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. That was a lot of fun. I want to thank you, Andrew, for joining me this late, since it ended pretty late now. It's like 2:15 in the morning here.
Damn.
In Toronto. So yeah, it's fucking late, but we're just so excited, jacked up, talking about professional wrestling, because it's a water cooler thing. If we all were going to work tomorrow, this is the water cooler talk, where like, yo, Danielson's there, Punk is there, Cole is there. So just craziness. Andrew, thank you for joining in today and stepping in and chatting with me, which we usually don't get to do, but what the floor is yours, essentially. What do you want to tell the people? Where can people check you out and listen to you on different shows?
I want people to follow Dickie Bird Media. That's what I want. I want them to follow the man. That's the man right there. But they can check me out on Twitter at AD Thompson _ and my interviews over at the Andrew Thompson Interviews YouTube channel. I put out a number of in-person interviews from when I was in Charlotte recently. That was very fun to get back out there. And I'll be on the road again, traveling, and then hitting some more in-person conventions and stuff like that within the coming. I was looking at the calendar right now. In the coming months, the next month probably. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that too.
Well, you've been killing it, man, with the interviews and stuff. Everyone listening probably already knows you're in the Post Wrestling fam. You're posting up all the news and everything on there. I think you're doing a fantastic job, man. And that's why I asked you to come join me on the show. I love what you've been doing with the NWA pod as well. And you and Martin Bushby, I got to shout out you and Martin Bushby. I think you guys have an awesome time. You guys are kind of what we just did. You're just like chilling, shooting the shit and talking about wrestling. That's what we all like to do anyway. So I recommend you guys go check out the awesome, what is it? The Wrestling Adventure? The Wrestling, not the long winding Wrestling Adventure Road. It's the Wrestling Adventure with Martin and Andrew, I think it's called. Oh no, I lost Andrew.
Yeah, it's the Wrestling Adventure. Yep.
All right.
I'm back.
Well, thank you.
They caught you trying to slander the podcast. See what I'm saying?
The internet was going down. Andrew, thank you so much. And for you guys listening, we do a Patreon. We do patreon.com/upNXT. The new month just started. It's a great time. We did a Summer of Punk show. Me and Davey go through everything. Summer of Punk from 2011, CM Punk, even Kevin Nash and the texting storyline, which made its way into the pipe bomb era of Punk. We also did Up Yours for Davey's birthday, where we chatted about his pick, the movie Whiplash from 2014, which was awesome. We also do retro NXT reviews. We did a best match ever just a few weeks ago, covering the best of, don't call him Daniel Bryan, now the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. Man, I'm going to mess that up a million times. $5 a month for North American tier is all we ask on the Patreon. And now we have over 350 podcasts in the back catalog. So go give us a shot if you haven't already. I promise you won't be disappointed. And lastly, Dickie Bird, thank you, brother, because we did a watch along for All Out today. Me and Dickie hung around and we had a blast. And he stepped in and took the reins while Davey was away and just made us look so fancy. Andrew, did you see how fancy we looked on Twitch and on the YouTube? We looked good. And Dickie was the man behind the scenes. And me, Dickie and Davey and the whole post/upNXT crew, we got some things. We're cooking up some things. The GOAT. Yes, the GOAT, Dickie Bird.
Live picture of Dickie Bird.
A picture of a goat. We got some things cooking, and Dickie Bird's just been an awesome help, and just a great dude. So I gotta give him his flowers there as well. And for you guys for listening and supporting us here, follow us at upNXT Podcast, Twitter, Instagram. Go RT. Every like and every little thing helps and counts. And yeah, I love this whole community we got with Post Wrestling and all you guys. So we appreciate you, and I appreciate you, Dickie, and I appreciate you, Andrew. Yeah,
I got one question. When is the Kona Reeves interview happening?
Oh, I gotta. Yeah, I mean, this is for off air. I gotta ask you some interview tips. I'm a little rusty, man. I haven't interviewed people in a while. I used to be the women's divas correspondent many years ago, but I'm out the game. So I gotta ask you for some Kona Reeves interview tips for sure down the line. Yeah, that's happening soon, I think.
I saw him flirt with the podcast on Twitter, man. I saw him,
he knows. Yeah. He knows, definitely. Thank you guys for listening. Andrew, thank you. We'll be chatting in the near future down the line. Shout out Dickie Bird. Shout out Andrew Thompson. Shout out CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, and Adam Cole. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And, embrace change.
Good. Thank you, Paul Turner, for saving the AEW Rampage booth.